Hi, I'm Matt, the Vice Chair of Ring Committee.
And I'm Trudy. I'm the Study Break Chair of Ring Committee. Matt and I are very excited to show you the ring we've been designing for the past 6 months.
We've worked hard in this ring. Hundreds of hours of planning have gone into it. Every single detail is meticulously planned out and debated.
Without further ado, we present the Class of 2023 Brass Rat.
Let's get into some details of this bezel. The first thing you'll notice is Tim the Beaver. He was super excited this year because he passed his online conceptual swim test.
So, we wanted to switch up the perspective and include him in a boat in the Charles. You'll notice also, his ride is sponsored by Corona. And while he's stuck in Corona, he has to make sure he wears his mask. Since there's no Greek life during COVID, Tim decided to go French instead of going Greek. Hence the beret and baguette.
Oh, and what's Tim holding? A one-on-one hackers map?
Yes, because every ring committee before messed up the proportions of the hackers map, and we had to get the floor schematics to fix it.
Anyways, moving on. Next, we'll have the landscape of MIT from the viewpoint of the students. Since we all love remote classes so much, we chose sites that we see daily: reconnecting Zoom screens, 404 webpage errors, and Minecraft MIT. But don't get too boxed in. Remember the wise words of Kanye West, the MIT student body.
Let me tell you, MIT right now, y'all in a box.
And I know that we can't run around on Killian anymore, but at least we have Among Us to chase our friends.
You'll also notice the Among Us imposters hanging out with another person who's out of place. Senator Bernie Sanders. Oh, and also note the infamous Purell stand to ward off the viruses floating in the sky. And although we were separated in the spring, we were all brought together in spirit with 801, 802, and the right-hand rule. So we include the unit vectors in the sky to guide the way.
And also semi-unrelated, but still important, as a class of 23, shout out Michael Jordan.
The Ring Committee has no affiliation with Michael Jordan, the Jumpman brand.
We'd like to wrap up by thanking our sponsors, Atlas, Zoom, and TikTok.
Guys, we vetoed all of these ideas in August. Oh, Hey guys, I'm Ananya, and I'm the chair of RingCom for our class.
And I'm Matt, the RingCom Vice Chair. This year has brought challenges to our daily lives and to the entire MIT community. And we have met these challenges head on in some of the most unique ways as MIT students, utilizing our creativity and ingenuity in order to make our communities a better place during these trying times. This is the theme for the 2023 Hackers Map section of the Ring.
Our unique communities on campus, whether they be dorms, independent living groups, dance teams, musical groups, student government, sports, or any other student-run activities, make our campus as vibrant as it is today. More importantly, these communities sustain us and give us the people and the support that truly let us call MIT home. And this is the theme for the 2023 Skylines section of the Ring.
The class shank of the 2023 Brass Rat, we centered on the theme of perseverance, honoring the ways in which the MIT community has rallied and continued to constantly strive for a better world. The seal shank of our ring will honor the theme of unity, honoring the friendships and the mutual support that has truly gotten us through this past year.
Finally, the bezel of our ring will be revealed. The theme of this year's bezel is legacy, both the legacy that we leave behind as a class and the legacy of those who have come before us to pave the way for the incredible things that all of us will continue to do in the future.
The Hackers Map is really more than just a map. It's a symbol of MIT's creativity and its ingenuity, everything that sets us apart as an institution.
What I like about the Hackers Map and the tunnels is that they really tie the whole campus together, like a network.
You'll find all kinds of things in the tunnels. The shops, the labs, the art, It's really unique.
Just as the tunnels have been evolving over the years, their representation on the brass rat have also significantly changed over the years. In comparison to the ring's long history, the Hackers map is quite a recent addition. A general campus map was first included in the class of 1999's ring. However, it was shortly removed in the class of 2000's ring after some 99ers got scarring on their fingers from it. MIT left me with permanent scars, they said. It was then reintroduced for the 2001 ring in a shallower relief, which didn't cause the skin irritation of the first design. Then, in the class of 2007 ring, it was finally dubbed with the moniker that we so fondly recall it as, the Hackers map. We're very excited to be continuing this beautiful part of the ring, with a finger-safe version, of course.
And now, for the map itself. If you look closely at the line map of the tunnels, you'll notice some significant changes compared to previous years. For our version of the Hackers map, we gave special attention to verifying the dimensional accuracy of the underground network. In order to make sure that all of the tunnel lengths are proportional to their physical counterpart, each segment of the map was cross-referenced with the building floor plans, which means this element of the ring is no longer just a symbolic representation of the tunnels, but a scale model of them. So you won't get lost doing what you love to do in the tunnels. Painting murals, riding chairs, lab research, blacksmithing, glass blowing, dumpster diving or treasure hunting, or even just avoiding the harsh winter weather.
One of my most special memories is visiting MIT and participating in CPW. And if there's one thing that no CPW is complete without, it's definitely riding rolling chairs down the tunnels that snake beneath the main infinite corridor. Joining countless students before us in this shared experience is what makes chairing so special. Even if you didn't attend CPW, for many of us, riding the chairs in the tunnel is a must-do. For this reason, we represent this shared experience between all of us with this little graphic of an office chair, and that chair shows up right here.
In between 26100 and the legendary Banana Lounge, we've all enjoyed the beautiful melodies played by generous students sharing their songs with passerbys on a very brightly colored piano. This makes its way onto the ring in the form of a quarter rest. Naturally, it appears right beside Building 26 on the Hackers map. Music could have easily been represented by a note rather than a rest, but the rest reminds us of our time away from campus, when we couldn't hear the piano or even walk the halls. MIT also has so many amazingly talented musical groups on campus, vocal and instrumental, and this rest recognizes them as well.
And now, on to the very last element. Every map has a compass, and this map too has one. But it's a little different. Instead of a normal compass, we replace it with a power button, with true north being dictated by the straight part of the power button symbol. This stylistic choice was inspired by two things. First, a subtle nod to the technology culture at MIT. Secondly, it represents how, as a class, we got turned off and then on again because of the pandemic.
And of course, we can't forget to mention the famous hacking culture here at MIT. Whether you've heard the stories, or maybe you've just taken a stroll through the hacking exhibit at the Status Center, no one can deny that hacking is deeply ingrained in the MIT tradition. There have been so many iconic hacks over the years, like the police car on the dome, or the classic Caltech cannon that was stolen. The tradition of hacking is inseparable from the Hackers map, and not just because of its name, but also by its connection to the creativity and the ingenuity that MIT is so famous for.
A few months ago, many of you participated in our Design Your Own Brass Rat contest. We loved all of your submissions, and it's just another reminder of how creative the class of 2023 is. As promised, the winner will receive a free Ultrium ring. We are incredibly proud to award this to Sung Hyun Shim. What a beautiful design! Thank you to everyone who submitted. Your creativity is so inspiring.
This year's skylines were designed to capture the importance of community to our class. When we came to MIT, we found connections through people that shared the same spaces where we worked, studied, and relaxed. Places like classes, clubs, and especially our first-year dorms fostered the growth of our MIT communities.
Given the circumstances of the past year, instead of dissolving, our communities adapted and became stronger. The virtual environment shows us that there are shared connections and bonds with friends that ultimately define community. The Boston and Cambridge skylines serve to remind us of where these communities began.
The skylines first premiered on the ring in 1990 and have been present ever since. Traditionally, the brass rat is worn so that the Boston skyline faces us until we graduate in 2023. This is representative of the view that we see when we are on campus at MIT looking across the Charles River. The skyline is depicted at night, reflective of the late nights we spend looking at Boston while studying during the week or partying in Boston during the weekend. A very important part of our graduation ceremony in spring 2023 is when we flip our rings.
At that moment, we will have officially graduated. When we flip the ring, we will now face the Cambridge skyline. While our time at MIT will be over, we can always look back at the Cambridge skyline to remind us of the wonderful times we've had on campus. As a class, we will never be alone through our eternal connection to MIT. We have chosen to include several landmark buildings and structures on our Boston skyline. From the left, we see the Zachem Bridge, the Custom House Tower, Faneuil Hall, the Massachusetts State House, the John Hancock Tower, 111 Huntington Ave, and the Prudential Center. This series of historical and modern Boston icons serves as a reminder of the dynamic tapestry that surrounds us.
The Citgo sign and Fenway Park appear on the right side of the ring. The sign, visible from campus, keeps us company during long nights toiling away at P-sets, and the stadium allows us to dive into the culture of a true Bostonian through escaping campus to catch a Red Sox game.
Above the State House, we see an airplane taking off from the Boston Logan International Airport, a symbol of MIT's ties to the global community. We designed the Cambridge skyline with our MIT communities in mind. The first building we see on the left is the Kresge Auditorium. Kresge is one of the first places we met as a class during CPW and freshman orientation. Kresge also serves as the center of the performing arts community at MIT, housing most of the MIT music and theater arts performances. The next building is the Stratton Student Center, more commonly known as the Stud. The Stud houses the center of our undergraduate community with excellent food options and the revered study space, Stud 5.
MIT's main campus, depicted by the McLaurin Buildings, Lobby 7 Dome, and the Great Dome, represent the academic community, the tie that unites us all. Our acceptance to MIT has brought us all here together today.
The Cambridge skyline also features various iconic buildings on campus. The goal of MIT's unique architectural style is to foster the intersection of communities and encourage collaboration. This is exemplified in the architecture of the Stata Center and the Green Building, seen to the right of the Great Dome.
And making its first ever appearance on the Brass Rat is the List Visual Arts Center. This is a reminder that in addition to MIT's prowess in STEM, our artistic presence is just as prominent.
Underneath the campus buildings and the Charles River, we see crew boats in groupings of 2 and 3, our graduation year. They also serve to represent our strong on-campus athletics community.
Sandwiched between the skyline and the river is an axis in the I-hat direction, depicted by an I-hat vector on the right of the skyline. This not only represents the physical distance between the ends of campus and the absurd amount of walking an MIT student does, but it also serves to bring attention to the way the past year has changed the way that we look at the spaces between us.
The last symbol we've yet to discuss is the Harvard Bridge, which appears on both the Boston and Cambridge skylines. This is the first time in recent history that the Harvard Bridge has appeared on the skylines. One of the most amazing things about MIT's campus is its proximity to Boston. The Harvard Bridge forms this connection, linking the Cambridge and Boston communities and unifying our skylines.
And of course, to kick off the famous premiere tradition, here's our first giveaway of up to $200 worth of Brass Rat accessories, such as the beautiful Skyline necklace. And the lucky winner is Natalie Moradayan. Congrats, Natalie. Please email brassrat-2023@mit.edu using your email address within the next 5 minutes. Otherwise, we'll be selecting the next person we have on our list. Rincom will follow up shortly regarding the details of your free accessories.
The class shank has been part of the Brass Rat since the very beginning. In the background is the iconic view of the Great Dome. Before the 1980s, the Great Dome was prominently displayed on the seal shank as well. However, since then, it has been solely featured on the class shank.
When we first arrived on campus, we gazed up at the Great Dome, perhaps one of the most recognizable buildings at MIT, and thought to ourselves that this building was now home.
On top of the dome is an infinity symbol, representing the infinite corridor that we all walked almost every day, squeezing through all of our peers, smiling and waving when we passed our friends. On our first day of classes, we saw students hard at work in their lectures and labs along this path, and we knew that we were not the latest to join their ranks.
While at MIT, we faced a multitude of challenges together, from PSATs to just simply missing home. And as a class, we were able to conquer them all. On our shank, Kerberos, the Hound of Hades, sits at the base of the dome and guards the gates of the underworld, also known as Lobby 10. This three-headed dog symbolizes our class's spirit of collaboration, grit, and unity together as we pursue our individual interests and passions. In ancient Greek mythology, the three heads represent the passage of time, the past, present, and future.
For many of us, the Institute has been our past by being our dream school. We've looked up to the great scientists, architects, and engineers who have previously walked the halls. It's been our current present as active students with our peers, and it will continue to be a part of our future as we become alumni and reminisce on these days under the dome. Marked by a star on the globe at the bottom of the shank, MIT is a thread that will continue to connect us all as we pursue our passions and live our lives around the world after graduation.
Kerberos also symbolizes our own past accomplishments, our present trials and triumphs, and future desires, converging during our time at the Institute and then diverging once again after we graduate. Similarly, with Athena's owl, the traditional symbol of wisdom and knowledge, our instinct to continue our endless journey of learning about everything, ranging from art history to machine learning, will continue well past our time here.
In March, we faced our biggest challenge yet. Being suddenly sent away from our home and friends was difficult for everyone, but we made the best of our time together that last week, trying to spend as much time as possible together, partying, crying, or simply laughing in our favorite haunts around campus, since we didn't know when we'd be reunited.
Afterwards, many of us struggled with the radical change. Although it has been very difficult, our community has continued to thrive. Athena lays her hand atop Kerberos' head, guiding the hound, as well as MIT students through any obstacles we may face. An expression of determination graces Athena's facade, mirroring our own class's determination as we overcome the many challenges of this year, as well as any future challenges in the years to come.
We continued as students, learning as much as we could at home and trying to maintain some semblance of normality. Some of us rented apartments, traveled back to campus, or stayed in our childhood home. Wherever we were still united by the common struggle online MIT brought. During this time, we also managed to stay in touch with our friends and peers, while also making new ones who we've yet to meet in person. With these friends, we pieced it over Zoom, hosted Netflix parties, and played Scribble.io and Among Us.
Just like the olive tree, Athena's tree showcases the changing of the seasons, from winter to the warmer months. It's been more than a year since that day in March, since our class has last been together in the same place. But the year has also accentuated our strength in our unity. New ideas, new communities, and new friendships are still being formed amongst our class and across the years.
The challenges our class collectively faced, the struggles we individually experienced and are still going through, are difficult, but they are part of what defines us. And as Athena strides forward with determination, so do we together.
It is now time for the PVD ring giveaway, and the lucky winner is Brian Avendano. Congratulations, Brian. We'll be in contact with you shortly about your free ring. To claim, please email brassrat-2023@mit.edu using your MIT email address within the next 5 minutes. Otherwise, we will be selecting the next person we have on our list.
The seal shank was introduced to the brass rat in 1980. Ever since its debut, the seal shank has been the leading component in representing MIT and its founding values, taking inspirations from the official MIT seal members of each subsequent class have renewed their interpretation of those values and strive for a unique embodiment of those elements that resonated with their class.
The class of 2023 SEAL Shank strives to represent the idea of unity. Given the various domestic and international events in the past year that have drastically changed the lives of many, we are especially grateful for the ways our class members and fellow MIT community members have come together to show support and appreciation of each other, as well as making impacts locally and globally. The most prominent feature in the SEAL Shank is our version of the MIT SEAL, which evolved from the traditional MIT SEAL featuring 2 male figures. However, we believe that the SEAL could be rendered to be more representative of our diverse class of 2023.
On the left side of the SEAL stands a female figure with a hammer, symbolizing hands-on innovation and craftsmanship. She is depicted in modern apparel with an emphasis on durability and convenience.
The male figure on the right appears with a book and a pair of glasses, symbolizing wisdom. He also wears a lab coat, symbolizing the tremendous contributions made by scientific researchers and medical workers at MIT and around the globe.
Together, the 2 figures embody numerous components that make up the class of 2023 at MIT, symbolized by the flames of the lamp that read 23 and the diverse ways the members of our class aspire to fulfill MIT's motto, Mens et Manus.
Next, in the background, we have the Kresge Auditorium, in front of which the class of 2023 met for the first time at our convocation and orientation events. In addition, Kresge Auditorium is a vital representation of MIT's creativity, not only for its architectural ingenuity, but also for the countless artistic events it has hosted. From an exciting concert, an inspirational speech, to an engaging play, we walk into Kresge with hearts full of anticipation and walk out of it with long-lasting, cherished memories. The Kresge Auditorium on the SEAL Shank also placed homage to one of the most remarkable events for every class that is traditionally held here, our very own ring premiere. Although the events in the past year have brought to us a different style of celebration, we know by heart that beyond the physical monuments, the realm of creativity at MIT has kept on growing and thriving.
Throughout the years, the background of the SEAL Shank has gradually evolved. It was not until the last decade when objects were featured on the background rather than just the motto and seal. This year, Brass Rat 2023 marks the first time any notable building on campus is represented in the SEAL Shank. Kresge and the Dome are across from each other on the Brass Rat just as they're across from each other on campus. The placement of the 2 buildings on the Shanks mimic each other, connecting these separate components together, making our ring a cohesive piece of art.
Let us now turn to the base of support for the SEAL Shank, a handshake between a human hand and a hand featuring patterns of the alchemist statue that stands outside of the Student Center. The alchemist hand symbolizes comprehensive curriculum offered here at MIT in not only STEM subjects, but also HAS subjects. On the other hand, no pun intended, the human hand represents the human component of our MIT experience. As many of our classmates and alumni would say, the most precious part of their MIT memory is the people.
The symbolism of the human hand embracing the alchemist's hand represents not only our immersion in the sea of knowledge at MIT, but also the many ways in which people at MIT work with each other. Many of us entered MIT finding ourselves collaborating on PSETs, projects, research, club activities, and so on. Those collaborations bring us not only multiples of knowledge from our teammates, but also multitudes of joy as something significant is accomplished by combined effort.
Of course, there are many other fronts where collaborations happen in our day-to-day life at MIT, among students and faculties, across different courses, departments, organizations, and between technology and humanity. It is those collaborations that allowed us to learn, progress, and unify our efforts in making great contributions to the world, no matter the scale.
Last but not least, we would like to recognize on the SEAL Shank our residential communities, which make up a huge part of our wellness, friendship, community, and identity at MIT. To represent our beloved residential communities, we dedicate 12 stars above Kresge Auditorium, one for each of the 10 MIT undergraduate dormitories that our class will have gotten to experience in our time at MIT. One for Greek life communities, and one for the independent living groups.
We hope that whenever you look down at your SEAL Shank, you will be reminded of the amazing memories made as a member of the MIT community and the unity that we all feel as a member of the class of 2023.
Let's give it up now for the silver ring giveaway. And the lucky winner is Grace Song. Congratulations! Please email us at brassrat-2023@mit.edu in the next 5 minutes to receive your free ring.
Hey, there's Julianne McCree.
My name's Zane Swanson.
I'm Scott Morrison.
My name is Lola Bryan.
And I'm her husband, Ken Bryan.
I'm Larry Markle.
My name is Crystala Jones-Prather.
I'm Ken Rosado.
I'm Nergis Mavalvala.
I'm Professor David Newman.
Class of 1973.
Class of 88.
Class of 86.
Class of 1994.
Class of 71.
Congratulations to the class of 2023 on getting your brass rats.
50 years ago, I was right where you are, getting my brass rat right there.
Learn how to learn has been a key feature of my life, and that's what the brass rat shows me every single day.
Hey, congratulations on getting your brass rat. Here's mine.
As you travel through your life, you'll see people everywhere in all kinds of situations wearing brass rats, and you'll be able to talk to them and have an instant MIT connection.
When you wear it, people will notice.
I'm so glad to be on this journey with you.
When this is all over, the pandemic is behind us, the thing that you will remember is that you went to college in this crazy, unusual time.
But I know, as so many of your faculty supporters know, that you will make the best of this situation, that you will survive, that you will thrive.
Congratulations on making it halfway through MIT, class of 2023.
Since 1929, the Brass Rat has commemorated the unique features of each class. When we receive our brass rats, we become part of a 93-year-long history. We add ourselves to the ranks of the innovators and revolutionaries who came before, and those yet to come. These aren't just rings of classes past. Many of your own rings will literally be forged from the same materials that members of these classes wore for their whole lives. Started 2 years ago, RingCom began the Ring Melt program, welcoming generous donations of brass rats from MIT alumni.
And now it is our turn to craft a legacy with our own brass rats. Whether you're Course 6, Course 21, live in Next House or East Campus, prefer Barker or the Stud, each and every one of us has left an enduring mark on this institute. We leave behind a part of ourselves in these hallowed halls, in student culture, policies, and friendships. And our brass rat is a testament to all that we've given the institute and that the institute has given us. Within this ring, we hope to have incorporated all of our memories, all that defines us and brings us together as a class. Without further ado, we present the bezel of the 2023 Brass Rat.
The beaver is the largest feature on the Brass Rat. Chosen as the mascot of MIT because of its remarkable engineering skill, the beaver has been on every brass rat for 93 years. On the tail of the beaver, a 23 is embedded through an optical illusion in the pattern, which is from the silver acceptance tube our class received. The silver tube can also be seen in the beaver's hand, where the word cyborg is written in Braille on the side.
I remember the day I received my silver tube, eagerly removing the contents inside and finding that mysterious puzzle. I immediately spent the next few hours trying and failing to solve the puzzle on my own, and eventually turned to the Facebook groups that, like so many of our class, I had joined. It turns out Cyborg was a key to the puzzle, but beyond being a nice poster, that puzzle was the first of many challenges that we have overcome together as a class through collaboration and friendship. From the tube, the beaver takes out the diploma that we will receive when we graduate from MIT, so that we hold together the first and last shared experiences we have as a class.
Perhaps one of the most momentous occasions of our lives that we collectively share is being admitted to MIT in the first place. Pi Day, for many of us, is truly auspicious and marks the day so many of us gained acceptance into the Institute. And as you can see here, between the beaver's body and its tail, we see that the rails of Harvard Bridge bend into the shape of the symbol pi in order to represent Pi Day.
Underneath the beaver's tail, we see a marker for 156 smooths, a representation of the colorful markings we see every time we walk the Harvard Bridge, and because we are the 156th graduating class from MIT. Below the smoot marking, we have a silver envelope engraved into the bridge representing our beloved international student community.
The final detail on the bridge is the fire hose to the right of the beaver. The fire hose is to represent a duality of ideas, the first being the phrase, attending MIT is like drinking out of a fire hose, and the second being the software fire hose that many of us use to schedule our classes each semester.
Away from the bridge, multiple elements lie within the Charles River between Cambridge and Boston. Perhaps the most noticeable is the reflection of the NIT buildings in the river, which are structured to look like they are built out of blocks. This representation pays homage to the online campus that we helped build, creating our own virtual community and showing the ingenuity and tenacity of our class.
That same duality that we see in the famous fire hose is also embedded within what is arguably the most famous student catchphrase at MIT, the famous IHTFP, which is inscribed in the reflection of the buildings in the Charles River. To recognize MIT's legendary hacking culture, a Purell stand sits on top of Kresge, and a mailbox outside of Kresge symbolizes all of the mail our class sent to stay connected to the world in 2020. Next to the iconic dome, a window is lit up in Lobby 7 to symbolize the law office where the lawsuit versus ICE was filed to protect international students against travel restrictions. The inclusion of Hayden Library in the Bezel commemorates how our class was the last to use the beloved study space, as it was before its current renovations.
On the face of the green building, a 0.0 immortalizes what was, for many of us, our freshman year GPA, thanks to P&R and emergency grading. Right behind the green building is a crane that represents the ever-changing nature of Kendall Square as it continues to develop over our time on campus. And finally, the last element on the Cambridge side is a sailboat for all of the unique Pirates License classes we're taking and an emblematic site we all see on the river.
On the opposite side of the river, we see the Esplanade, Prudential Center, Boston Commons, State House, Citgo sign, and the Brownstones, which are all iconic sites and locations we have all made fond memories in. The T sign acknowledges the transportation system widely used, and the apple tree nods to Harvard for our cross-registered classes and shared library systems.
In the sky, a Wright Brothers plane flies over Stata, representing the 79-year-old Wright Brothers wind tunnel decommissioned our freshman year, as our class was the last to use the site of so many historic innovations.
Above the Beaver, a crescent moon and a full moon shine down on the scene, as these are the two phases that the moon is in during convocation and graduation, the first and last days we will be students at MIT. Finally, the rocket flying through the air marks the beginning of a new era in space travel, as the Falcon 9 was the first time a private company has carried humans to orbit, and the Perseverance mission, led by MIT alum Swati Mohan, was the most advanced rover to ever land on Mars.
We hope that someday, in 10 years, or perhaps 20, you'll look down at your brass rat and be reminded of your time at MIT, facing the difficulties of a virtual semester with resilience and heart, finding some of the best people you've ever known, and even seeing a snapshot of who you used to be and how far you've come since. With at least 2 more years still to come, your brass rat is not set in stone. As you continue crafting your own identity and the legacy that you will leave behind, we hope that you will write the story of your brass rat.
In doing so, remember that you are not alone. The beauty of being attached to something with such a profound legacy is that there are people who have changed the world who share it with you.
Congratulations on your progress toward earning your degree, despite the extra challenges from this pandemic.
It's a very exciting occasion to get the unveiling, the premiere of your brass rat. I think it's a special...
Hey, MIT engineers! It's Cooking with Linja. As an MIT alum and a former athlete, I want to congratulate you on making it halfway through your MIT bachelor's program.
Congratulations on making it halfway through MIT and making it to the time where you can actually get your own brass rat.
Hello, class of 2023. It's Diana. Some people know me as the creator of Physics Girl, but I think more importantly, MIT class of 2011.
I'm Katie Croft-Bell, course 13, class of 2000. I know that MIT is not easy at the best of times, and especially in the middle of a pandemic. I want to sincerely congratulate you for making it halfway through your MIT career.
The brass rat is more than a symbol of your time at MIT. It's a rite of passage and a doorway to adventures waiting on the other side.
Congratulations on making it halfway through. It's a big feat, especially under these circumstances.
The brass rat. It's such a special tradition for MIT students, and I hope today inspires you to continue and complete your MIT experience.
I want to congratulate you on making it halfway through MIT, signified by your having the brass rat.
Realize how unique it is to have that map engraving and all the inside jokes on there and the little specks that I swear if you squint are people hacking on the dome.
There's my ring. It's pretty pristine. A lot of my classmates' rings are worn to a nub. But one reason is I chose the least expensive option at the time, which was 10 karat gold.
Hi, class of 2023. Congratulations for making it halfway through.
My name is Quentin Louie, class of 2001, and Ring Committee Chair for my year.
Hello, everybody. Hello, class of 2023. My name is Jack Little, and I'm the CEO and a founder of MathWorks. MathWorks is the maker of MATLAB and Simulink, which you may have heard of. I'm also an MIT alum. So nice job making it halfway through MIT.
I was sitting in a small cafe in a remote area when I heard someone say, "You're from MIT." I looked up as two older gentlemen raised their glasses. I asked, "How did you know?" They held up their own hands, each bearing a brass rat, and pointed to mine. I'd forgotten I'd had it on. We spent the afternoon sharing stories and laughing. It was then I realized that my brass rat made me part of an extended international family.
The brass rat was with me on my person going to orbit and was there for both of my flights. So
These rings really represent the 4 years of investment, pleasure, and probably some disappointment that you've had. Not just the ordinary scholastic disappointments, but in this case, experiencing COVID as an undergraduate. We didn't have such a traumatic experience. All we had was the ever-present possibility of a nuclear exchange with the Soviet Union at the time, which we didn't think about very much unless they would make some threatening flights toward us.
Well, sometimes grueling. This MIT experience builds self-confidence that you can acquire the knowledge and skills that you'll need to solve the world's most difficult problems. And the experience also amplifies your ambition to accomplish something significant in your careers.
The decades will go by fast, but you will remember the times that you are in now. I think I still probably weekly have a dream about me forgetting to drop a class or walking down the infinite corridor.
At my age, you find that the friends count the most, although I must say that learning how to solve problems the MIT way was extremely valuable to me.
The skills that you come out of MIT with are applicable to anything, as evidenced by me going from electrical engineering to television. So I think you can do anything you want, and I hope you know that. I feel incredibly grateful to have had that education. I treasure my brass rat. I still do. I look at it and I think, oh, how lucky I was to have gone to MIT. And so I wish you the greatest next 2 years. And as you graduate, I hope you figure out what you're passionate about and that you pursue it.
The thing that I learned later in life, especially since I started cooking with Linja, is not to be afraid to be imperfect. I was raised to be perfect. I needed perfect grades and perfect behavior. But what I've learned is perfection gets in the way of production. If you always feel the need to be perfect, you're afraid to take risks. I was afraid to take risks because I was afraid of the uncertainty. But no matter the outcome, either way, we grow through the process. We become more resilient and confident. Resilience and confidence helps improve the chances for success. So get out there, do what you love, and embrace the uncertainty.
Before the final giveaway, the committee would like to express our eternal gratitude to all of the alumni who virtually supported our class, those and their families who've donated their brass rats to the Ring Melt program. A special thank you to all of the members of MIT's administration who have fought so hard to support and make the tradition of Ring Premiere as special as it always has been. Professor Fernandez, a special shout out to you. Happy birthday. Now, back to Mulan.
For the final giveaway of the night, we're giving away a gold ring. And the lucky winner is Yu Ching Chung. Congratulations! To claim, please email brassrat2023@mit.edu using your MIT email address within the next 5 minutes, or we will select the next person we have on our list. Finally, to finish off the night, let's take a look at how you can get your very own brass rats.
To get your ring at delivery, order now at brassrat2023.mit.edu under the ordering page. Order as soon as possible because every 23rd person to order will receive a free Ultrium ring as long as funds last. And while you're there, check out our awesome accessories. We'll also be having a live Q&A session in the next couple of days, so stay tuned for a Zoom link in your emails.